help me celebrate and honor our social media all-stars. In the effort to become who God has called us to be as a spiritual community, everyone has a role to play. And I am so grateful for the men and the women who have said yes to helping us spread the word socially. And a very special shout out to Raquel Thompson, who is the person choosing our clips for the month of August. Thank you so much, Raquel.
Listen, sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to speak victory during the test. And no matter how you feel, speak a word and you will be healed. Speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. Sometimes you encourage yourself. Gotta pat your own self on the back.
Sometimes you have to speak victory during the test.
And no matter how
you feel,
speak the word over your life,
and you will be healed. Speak over yourself.
encourage yourself.
Encourage yourself in the Lord.
Sometimes you have to speak a word over yourself. The pressure is all around, but God is your present help. My fears and doubts created walls, but remember, giants, they do fall. Speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord.
Oh, as I minister to you, oh, I minister to myself. Find the key to unlock
encourage yourself. That's what you have to do. You have to speak life over your life. You have to tell yourself the truth no matter what. Thank you so much, worship team. You know we love you. You know we think that you are just the bee's knees, the cat's meow. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Well, I want to welcome you in. Come on in to our virtual service. I'm Reverend Sherri James, and I'm the Senior Minister for Understanding Principles. We are the living legacy of the Reverend Dr. Delarice Lett. So a couple of housekeeping things. Please, if you would, leave us a comment on this video, like and share. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment. If you are watching this on Facebook, please also leave us a comment. Hit that share button. It's so easy. You can share without comment. You can just don't put anything. Just hit the share button and then post it. And make sure that you also like our page and set yourself up to get notifications every time we release new content. I am so glad that you are here. I want to take a moment to open this service in prayer because we've got some great things planned for you today. Would you pray with me? Father, Mother, God, we open our hearts and our minds to your teaching. We open ourselves to be changed at depth. We desire to express the good that you have stored within us. We know intellectually that our potential is unlimited. We ask to know this truth at a soul, at a core level, that in our conscious awakening that we are aware of how amazing you have created us to be, and we are actively stepping into roles of service in this world to ourselves, to our families, to our fellow human beings. I thank you, God, that we have the audacity to be change agents for good. And I ask that what is shared here in this service through music, through song, through words, it serves to release the imprisoned splendor. May we leave this worship experience changed, more committed to you and to expressing you in our life, world, and affairs. And we ask that we are able to be instruments of peace, instruments of love, instruments of joy in our respective worlds. Let us be that beacon of light for those who may need the light, for those who may not know that they are the light. I bless Understanding Principles. I bless us as we move through this season of change in our ministry, as we move into our own divine right space. I thank you, Spirit, for unifying this community, keeping us together as we go through this journey together. I know that you have amazing plans for us, and I surrender all that I think I know to follow your lead, Spirit. I bless this worship service. I bless it to do a perfect work, whether it is for someone individually or for all of us collectively or everything in between. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. In the name and in the nature and in the consciousness of I am. Let this worship service be our best ever. Thank you. And so it is. And amen. I mentioned earlier that we are the living legacy of the Reverend Dr. Delarice Lett. And I want you to know how seriously we take that responsibility. We recognize that the work that we do keeps what she taught us alive. And so we are committed to sharing these teachings, to supporting you in your growth. We watched her make a dedicated commitment to the people that God sent her to serve. And we're inspired by that commitment. And it's why we keep doing what we're doing. And I'm so glad that you are here. I say that all the time, but I really, really am, because I know that something that you hear, something that is said, is going to make a difference in your life. And it may come in the song, it may just come in the exchange, it may be the full experience of the service, or it may be one tiny little piece. but I know that there is a blessing here for you today, and I declare that you shall have it. Let me share with you our vision. Our vision is to love every person up to their true identity and to their highest potential for the greater good of all. And we are on a mission to express God's divine love through teaching spiritual principles, worship services, fellowship activities, and community outreach. And our theme this year is Open Your Mind. And wow, we are coming up on, we're the middle of the third quarter. That's where we are, game time. We're in the middle of the third quarter, the exact middle, August 15th, the middle of the third quarter of this year. And I started the year, we had a segment that we were doing at the top of the year about open your mind. And in that segment, I opened it by saying that I am being challenged to open my mind to us having our own building. Now, there is no way I could have foreseen the choices that we would make, but where we are in this moment is stepping out, holding on to this virtual space while we locate our new physical space. We are opening our minds. And so my sermon today is entitled, Let Your Light Shine. And it is as much a message to you personally and to me personally as it is to us as a group collectively. Let your light shine. So let's take a moment right now to just relax. Let's have a brief moment of meditation, and then we'll get into the rest of the service. Let's sit comfortably in our seats and just relax into this moment of quiet respite. Allow yourself to be nurtured by God. In this moment of quiet is all the peace that you need. All the joy that you need. All the love that you need. Right where you are, the peace, the power, the presence of God is. And you are safe. No harm can come to you. No harm can come from you. Imagine yourself surrounded on all sides by this beautiful, lovely, safe cocoon of love. In this space, it is safe to be yourself. In this space, it is safe to share your talents, your gifts. There's no ridicule in this space. No one is looking and pointing out what you're not. There is simply an affirmation of all that you are. this space, there is love for you. In this space, there is grace for you. Nothing good is withheld. Everything that is for you and for your highest good now flows to you unobstructed. And everything in you agrees with that good. And you feel yourself expand. And that expansion is safe. In that space, you feel encouraged. And you know with clarity that you are a masterpiece. And just breathe in this space. As you experience the wondrousness of who God created you to be. And feel the sense of gratitude for all that you have become. And know that your Father, Mother, God stands in loving appreciation of all that you have become. And we now bring this moment of quiet to a close. Holding on to the understanding that God created us amazing. And so we must dare to let our light shine.
Thank you, Reverend Sherri, for that beautiful meditation. I'm Reverend Sheree Thompson, and I get the distinct pleasure of saying welcome, welcome, welcome to those of you who are visiting with us today. On behalf of the UPCHURCH family and friends, on behalf of Reverend Sherri, I just want to say thank you for being here. Whatever got you here, I just am so grateful that it happened and you're able to share in this amazing service with us. I don't know if you've caught this yet, but we're a teaching ministry and we're really highly intentional about ensuring that you have a positive, expansive spiritual growth experience here. We're all about your spiritual growth here at UPCHURCH. We're all about loving you up to your true potential. And so if you find that this is resonating with you and you want to grow spiritually with us, we want to invite you to come on and become a member of UPCHURCH. All that you need to do is let us know that you're interested and we'll help you with the next step. So just email us at upchurch@upchurch.org and we will give you your next step. Now, you should know who you're worshiping with. And so I know we're virtual and we're all connecting in our own respective places, but we're all here on one accord, and we get there by announcing our spiritual name. So this is one way we can introduce ourselves to one another. So if you're chatting along with us in the live chat, I want you to right now tell me what your spiritual name is. If you are not in the live chat, you can feel free to add this to the comments. There is no time and place and space in God, so it's okay for you to do this no matter when you're watching this video. And so I want to encourage you to tell me your spiritual name. All that you need to do is put I am next to a quality of God. I'll go first. I am love. What's your spiritual name? I know we have some prosperity out there. I know we have health and vitality. I know that we have awesome joy. Share with us your spiritual name. It's a wonderful way to kind of reset yourself so that you can stop calling yourself all those horrible names you may be just run through your mind and tell yourself the truth about yourself. I am love. Tell me who you are. Tell me who you are. I love to know who I'm worshiping with. I'm so grateful to be with you today. We have a powerful service coming up. Reverend Sherri has an amazing word to share, and I'm just excited and I'm ready. And I'm ready to take my notes. So I'll be live chatting along as we move forward. But right now, we're going to have our daily inspiration, and that is our opportunity for us to hear the word of power. And the daily inspiration is a publication that you can subscribe to or purchase. All that you need to do is go to ufbl.org and you can purchase your daily inspiration for better living, or contact us. We can get one to you as well. So now here's our DI.
Good morning, UPCHURCH family. Our daily inspiration today is entitled, Listen to Your Inner Intuition. Let your inner compass direct the course of your life. Acting on our intuition is one of the most empowering choices that we can make in our lives. When we lose touch with our intuition or find ourselves too distracted or insecure to trust what we feel inside, we fall out of integrity with our true self and surrender our creative ability to respond to life circumstances. We can't control the outside world, but by tuning in, listening to our soul, and following our inner voice, we can begin to chart a new course, one that brings about deep satisfaction and personal peace, regardless of what's going on around us. Navigating through life, we are like a boat at sea. Intuition is the rudder that helps us maintain our true course when the wind and weather threaten to push us off track. Affirm, I listen to the unerring guidance of my inner tutor. All is calm in my life, world, and affairs. And our scripture today is from Proverbs 4:1. Listen and be attentive that you might gain insight.
Thank you so much for that daily inspiration. It's now time for our affirmation of power. Now, this is where we speak the word of truth for ourselves to ourselves. And this inspiration this month was written with you in mind. And it is an adaptation of the 91st Psalm because I wanted everyone to understand how they are divinely protected and how to leave wherever you are when you navigate your world to ensure and to affirm that you are under God's protection. And so I will read it first and then we will affirm together. I dwell in the secret place of the Most High, and I abide under the protection of the Almighty. The power of the Lord is my refuge and my fortress. I trust God. The wisdom of God guides and directs me, so I shall not be afraid of the unknown. Because God is all power, all love, and all wisdom everywhere present, I am protected. No matter what appears, I know the truth. I love God. I am living my divine purpose. Everything is working together for my abundance. Everything is working together for my health. Everything is working together for my peace. Everything is working together for my love. Everything is working together for my good. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Let's affirm that together. I dwell in the secret place of the Most High, and I abide under the protection of the Almighty. The power of the Lord is my refuge and my fortress. I trust God. The wisdom of God guides and directs me, so I shall not be afraid of the unknown. Because God is all power, all love, all wisdom, everywhere present, I am protected. No matter what appears, I know the truth. I love God, and I am living my divine purpose. Everything is working together for my abundance. Everything is working together for my health. Everything is working together for my peace. Everything is working together for my love. Everything is working together for my good. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Now, every time that we speak these words, I always say to find the sentence, find the part of it that really, really sings to your soul, the part that you may need to stretch for. Maybe you need to stretch to be reminded that you are protected. Maybe you need to stretch to be reminded that everything is working together for your good. We are working with those places where we may have fallen from faith, where we may not quite believe that we are divinely guided and divinely protected. We may have forgotten that God is everywhere equally present as absolute good because we're going through something that's not so good. And so take that part of the affirmation and work with it, because the way that your life changes, the way that you have a new experience is when you begin to remember the truth. You see, we focus on appearances, but our divine mandate is to judge the righteous judgment. Our divine mandate is to focus on what's true. And so we're going to do that today. Use this affirmation as a support tool as you move through the week. God bless you. It's been a joy to be here with you. And now we have an amazing announcement from Reverend Sherri, who's going to talk about our adventure in faith. God bless you.
Hey, I'm back. I've got a little bit of information on our next sermon series. It starts next month, and it is entitled Move into Your Promised Land, an Adventure in Faith. And you don't want to miss this. This sermon series parallels our move into our new church home. So it's a very, very important series for us as a spiritual community. Now, I told you last week the areas that we're going to be covering, those 7 areas. But what I want you to know is that we really desire for you to grasp these lessons that are being taught on Sundays. We want to make sure that this information is really seeping in, because we have to become the people who can have the home that we're seeking. Like, it doesn't just materialize. We become the people who can go in and possess the land. And so we're going to be using small groups to deepen the lessons that we're sharing in these areas. And so we have put together 7 groups that are spread across the week at various times. So we wanted to accommodate the people that were here in LA, those who don't live in LA. Right now, what we need you to do is go to our website, upchurch.org, and sign up for your small group. You want to give us your first preference and your second preference, because the group size is limited and the groups are going to fill up fast. And so we'll do everything that we can to give you your first preference. But if the group fills up, we will then go to your second preference. Right now, go to upchurch.org and sign up for your small group.
How many know you gotta dig a little deeper? All right now. Yeah, here we go. Don't matter what you look like. Don't matter what you wear. How many rings you got on your finger? We don't care. We don't care. Don't matter where you come from. It don't even matter where you are. A dog, a pig, a cow, a goat, got them all in here. And they all knew what they wanted. What they wanted me to do. I told them what they needed. Just like I'll be telling you. You gotta dig a little deeper. Find out who you are. You gotta dig a little deeper. It really ain't that far. When you find out who you are, you find out what you need. Blue skies and sunshine. Froggy was a rich little boy, wanna be rich again. That ain't gonna make you happy now. Did it make you happy then? No! 'Cause money ain't got no soul, money ain't got no heart. All you need is some self-control. Make yourself a brand new start. You gotta dig a little deeper. You don't have far to go. You gotta dig a little deeper. Tell the people Kayla told you so. Can't tell where you're going for. Find out what you need. Blue skies and sunshine is guaranteed. Hey, Miss Froggy, might I have a word? Well, use the hard one. That's what I heard. Your daddy was a loving man, family through and through. You, your daddy's daughter, what he had in him, you got in you. You gotta dig a little deeper. For you, it's gonna be tough. You gotta dig a little deeper. You ain't dug near far enough. It's when you find out who you are, you find out what you need. Blue skies and sunshine is guaranteed. All right, now open up the windows, let the light in, children. Hey, blue skies and sunshine. Blue skies and sunshine. Blue skies and sunshine. It's guaranteed. Yeah, yeah.
Blue skies and sunshine is guaranteed. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. We couldn't resist sharing that song with you. It actually belonged to the Princess and the Frog, but it was just such a perfect song because today's sermon is also about digging deeper, getting into yourself. Kaylin, Dom, Chad, hello, Noriko, thank you so much. That was so much fun. You gotta dig deeper into yourself. It really is a fitting opening and a perfect segue into our conversation today. The title of my sermon is Let Your Light Shine. Let your light shine. And my guiding scripture comes from John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. And my thesis for you today, what I want to prove to you today, is that that which is in you is meant to save you and to serve others. That which is within you is meant to save you and to serve others. And the story comes from The Incredibles, one of my favorite little movies. And you probably have seen it. You may have seen me in my Elastigirl shirt, but let me give you a perspective on it, because I'm not going to do probably the most traditional one, which is to focus on the father or the mother. I'm going to focus on the daughter, Violet, because I think she's got a metaphysical lesson for us with everything that she went through. So Violet is born into this superhero family. She is the eldest daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. She is the oldest of three and does her best not to give her parents any trouble. She is typical firstborn syndrome. She takes blending in to a whole new level. And ironically, one of her abilities that we learn about in the beginning of the movie is that she has the ability to become invisible. She also has the power to erect an impenetrable force field around herself or anyone else she desires to protect, but she's not really good at that because she doesn't really use that power. What has happened is that superheroes are forbidden to use their power. So she's born right after the superheroes were banned for using their powers. And every time they do, they have to be relocated and start over. It's very costly. It's very disruptive. And as the oldest, I would imagine that Violet has probably seen her family relocate multiple times because either the mom saved someone and used her powers or the dad saved someone. And so the government policy was was you use your powers, then we got to like erase the memory of the people that like saw you use them. We got to relocate you, and that's upsetting. So Violet is really, really committed to not using her powers, unlike her younger brother Dash, who he is like, I don't care if you know that I'm super. She never uses her powers outside of the home. Violet has some trouble violating this family value, and it really comes into play when her dad gets called to a secret mission that puts his life in danger, and the family has to go and rescue him. While they are flying to his location, their plane is threatened with attack. And her mom turns to her and commands her to use her powers to put a force field around the airplane. But having never used that power very much, she fails to do so, and literally the plane goes down. But the family survives, because why? It's a Disney movie. It is not until there's this threat against her brother that while attempting to, they're on the island where he has this mission and he's been captured. They're attempting to find their dad and rescue him, and her brother gets in danger, and she's finally able, in a moment of extreme pressure, to erect that impenetrable force field around him and save him. And now that she's free to express her powers, Violet actually comes out of her shell and begins to let the world see her. All right. So I've got 3 points that I want to give you. Point number 1, you have latent power. Point number 2, give yourself permission to shine. And point number 3, you are a blessing to the world. All right, let's get into it. Point number 1, you have latent power. When we meet Violet, we learn that she has the power to go invisible, and she's really good at it. She symbolizes, metaphysically, all of us at some point. We feel uncomfortable with the things that make us different, and we do our best to shrink into the background. You see, that which makes us great also makes us different. But different is uncomfortable. Different will get you teased. Different can get you thrown out of the tribe. Different in the wrong place can get you killed. And the last thing that Violet wants to do is to allow what makes her different to be seen. And so there's a great scene in the beginning where she's in school and there's this boy that she likes, and she's, observing him as he walked past, and he turned past her, and he turns to look at her, and she literally goes invisible. And so he can, I guess, feel her looking at him, but when he turns to look in her direction, realizes thinks that there's no one there. All of us have something about us that we're hiding because at one point in our lives, it wasn't safe to reveal it. All of us have something. Now, it may be a dream, it might be a gift, it might be a deep desire, but all of us, this is a universal human condition. You have latent power. You have things in you that up till this point, you have not felt safe to express. And so you have kept it hidden out of fear of someone ridiculing you about the thing that makes you different. But what you have to get is that what makes you great also makes you different. And what makes you different is part of the formula for what will make you great. What makes you different is going to save you. What makes you different is not only going to save you, it is going to serve the people that you were called to serve. Now, that might be your family, that might be a spiritual community, that might be everybody on the planet. You have the ability to be a blessing to the world. Point number 2, you've got to give yourself permission to shine. You have to give yourself permission to shine. Violet had practiced hiding herself and her powers for so long that when the family really needed them, she couldn't access them. The plane that they were in was literally being attacked, but the family value of hiding herself, hiding her powers was so powerful that it trumped the need to protect herself and her family from harm. Reverend Della used to say all the time, self-preservation is nature's first law. Self-preservation is nature's first law. But I have found that some of us have values that we learn from our families, from our communities, or wherever that will compel us to go against this first law. We will literally annihilate ourselves before we violate a cherished value. Every place where you are not stepping up to let your light shine is being hindered by a value that you are fulfilling, even though it's no longer working. That moment where Violet is on the plane, I mean, it's a tense scene, literally like, not asteroids, that's the wrong word. Bombs in the air. Bombs are being launched at the plane. And the mom turns to her and says, put a force field up. She knows that her daughter has this power. Put a force field up. And Violet is looking at her and saying, but you said never use our powers. And even though there is the threat of them being killed, the need to fulfill that family value is so strong that she is unable to nature's first law, which is self-preservation. Very often, this value that you are fulfilling is hidden from your conscious awareness. You don't even realize you're doing it. You know, they spell it out for the movie, but in real life, very often we've got a value that we're upholding that we're not even present to. Some of us are keeping ourselves broke in service to a hidden family value of not having too much. Hello, somebody. Some of us are keeping ourselves sick in service to a hidden family value. Isn't that something? Every place where you are not stepping up and stepping into your greatest self, it tells you that there is a value there that you are fulfilling, and you may not even know it. You may not even be present to it. Every place where you are keeping yourself in a corner, in a box, playing small, has a value tied to it that you are, it's like you've taken a vow to it that you will not break it. And you've seen that. You've seen people who they get so far and then they sabotage themselves because God forbid if they make more money than their parents. Or God forbid if they, break through the community barrier, whatever the limits of the community are. Because the last thing that they want to be is a sellout. The last thing that they want to be is the one who forgot where they came from. And so we will keep ourselves small rather than step into our greatness. I say this all the time. I hope one day it sinks in a way that you take action on it. Nothing about you is ordinary. You were born to be extraordinary. Why? Because God lives in you and God is extraordinary. You are like that from which you come. You can't be any different than the source of your being and spirit, God, whatever name you want to use, principle, Father, Mother, omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience is your source. And you are like that from whence you have come. No matter what you have expressed, no matter what parts of yourself you haven't accessed, you are like that from whence you've come. And there is nothing that can happen to you. There is no decision that you can make that will cancel out the latent power that is within you. Because even though Violet was fulfilling this value of not showing your powers outside the family home, never using your powers in public, even though she was not violating or fulfilling that value, it did not diminish her ability to make use of that. And we'll see that later in the film. And I want to tell you that what God put in you, that there is nothing that you can do, there's no decision that you can make that will diminish the potential. The potential can never be diminished. It can only be developed. That's good. That's good news for somebody. Because maybe you were that person who thought because you didn't take advantage of the talent that you had at a certain age, that somehow that talent is no longer available to you. And I just stopped by today to tell you that guess what? Yes, it is. And the way to it is that you've got to give yourself permission to shine. You have to give yourself permission to be great. Give yourself permission to succeed. If you have to get up every morning and say it's okay for you to be amazing. One of my favorite things to say is think big, Sherry. Think big about everything. You have plenty of ability to do a first-class job, so do a first-class job. That is as much an affirmation as it is a command to my subconscious mind that I expect excellence from myself. And even if the day before I didn't express excellence, that does not diminish the potential. The potential can never be diminished. It can only be developed. There is a quote from Marianne Williamson, and many of you know it. It's so powerful. It is from her book, A Return to Love. This is what it says. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. When Violet finally stopped hiding herself, hiding her power, she not only saved herself, but she became an indispensable part of rescuing the entire family. You have your role to play in this world. You have your area of the kingdom that you are responsible for. And you must have the bold audacity to not play small. You're not small, you are infinite. And every place that you have played small is a place where you have violated the core principle of your being, which is that you are like that from whence you have come. Point number 3, you are a blessing to the world. You. You say, who, me? Yeah, you. You are a blessing to the world. Your job as a spiritual being is to become valuable. Your ability to have in this world is directly tied to how valuable you cultivate, you develop yourself to be. An apple tree, here, let's take it to nature because maybe this is making you uncomfortable. An apple tree is valuable based on the number of apples and the quality of the apples that it produces. And so an apple tree that generates a few apples is only valuable to a few people. An apple tree that generates a multitude of apples is valuable to a multitude of people. You have latent power in you that if you would tap into it and cultivate it and develop it and say yes to it, you begin to make yourself valuable, not just to the people you serve right now, but to the multitudes. Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and that more abundantly. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Well, who's the thief? The thief is the you that keeps playing small. The thief is the you that keeps trying to shrink into the background and not be different. The thief is the you that won't own how amazing you are. The thief is the you that keeps comparing yourself to others with you coming up short. The thief comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. The thief is who tells you that you're not enough. The thief is who keeps saying to you that who you are does not matter. But I have come. The I am of your being has come. In your quiet time, that's what emerges. The God in you that knows how incredible you are. The God in you that stands in loving appreciation of all that you have become. The God in you that has become the vibrational equivalent of everything that you've imagined. God already is what you're trying to be. And so now it's only a matter of the rest of you catching up with it. You were never meant to be erased from the pages of history. So stop living your life like a castaway. Begin to nurture the parts of you that make you different. Maybe you're good at reading. Read more. It's like, just start. Because if you will start down the path, God will take you to the point of completion. You know, when Violet first tries to use her powers, she's the part where she's able to do the force field, she's only able to make a little small force field. But her willingness to even try to make a small force field then opened the door for the moment when her brother's life is threatened and she's able to put a force field around him and her. And then later, she's able to put a force field around herself and her entire family and protect them. See, that which is within you was given to you to save you and to save those that you were called to serve. You have to put yourself in an environment that allows you to experiment with your gifts and your talents. When Violet is on the island with her parents fighting the bad guys, it is a space where she is able to experiment with her gifts and her talents so that when they come back to the known world, there is a command that she has over her power. You know, this is the purpose of the wilderness. This is the purpose of the time away. It is for you to experiment. And so it may look like you are not in your right space, but really where you are is in that space where you are safe to experiment. And so you have to nurture your gifts and your talents. You have to nurture what makes you different. You have to nurture what makes you stand apart. You have to give life to it. And there will be plenty of people who will tell you to stop. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. It's not given to us to see the end. It's really not. We can imagine the desired and the things that we want, but we never see the details as they will unfold. That's not given to us. So we don't know how or who or when or things will come about. We don't know where. We don't have the details of how it's going to unfold. And so it's going to require us to have a faith or a belief in the laws of this universe. But so just begin by serving what interests you, what God put in you to do. You know, I think about Oprah. Oprah had a love of books, a love of books. No one could have seen what ultimately became the book club and this movement that she inspired of people reading and all of that. No one could have seen that. It was just, I love books and I love telling people about the books. And now there's a whole thing where authors who get picked by her, you know, the Oprah Book Club, and it's a thing now where it's like you got to prepare because the Oprah effect. But it just started with, I love books and I love telling people about the books I read. It's not given to you to see the end. I think about some of the stories that are in our scriptures, the woman with the issue of blood. Who knew that a story like that would survive for centuries and inspire people thousands of years after this woman walked the planet? All she knew was, I desire to be healthy and I'm going to do whatever I need to be healthy. It's not given to you to see the end result of what letting your light shine will do. But you have to have the audacity, the boldness to go ahead and do it. Set it up so that you have to express it. Put yourself in the environment that compels you to release what is within you. Make it so that you can't help but to use your powers. All right, let's review. That which is within you is meant to save you and to serve others. Point number 1, you have latent power. What you have expressed thus far in your experience pales in comparison to what you can be, do, and have. The potential in you is always greater than the expression. Point number 2, give yourself permission to shine. Release the values that keep your latent power hidden. Your playing small serves no one. And point number 3, you are a blessing to the world. Playing small may protect you for a season, and it may protect you for a moment, but it's going to destroy you in the end. If Violet had not figured out how to use her powers, it would have spelled destruction for her as well as her family. She had a vital role to play in their overcoming. And I'm telling you that you have a vital role to play in your family's overcoming, in your sphere of influences overcoming. Step up and do it. Let your light shine. God bless you.
Rays, I'm feeling exposed, but I can't hide, no, I can't hide. As the sun shines on all of my glory, my flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of? 'Cause every part of me is a vision of a portrait of Mona Lisa. Part of me is beautiful, and I finally see I'm a work of art, a masterpiece. Oh, 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 oh. Who is this I tried so long to find, filling my head with lies that I'm not good enough? Then I heard something in my ear tell me I'm perfect. Now that I know the truth, time to show. 'Cause every part of me is a vision of a portrait of Mona Lisa. Oh, every part of me is beautiful, and I finally see I'm a work of art, a masterpiece. Oh, 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 oh. Now I see the pretty colors on my canvas. I'm a work of art, a Mona Lisa. I'll share my picture with the world. I'm not afraid to let it show anymore. Oh, let my colors paint the sky. There's so much beauty in my eyes. Oh, I can light the night. I can see it now. I can feel it now. I can light the night. Shine so bright. I'm a masterpiece. Oh, I am beautiful. I can light the night. Shine so bright. Every part of me is a vision of a portrait of Mona Lisa. Every part of me is beautiful. Now I finally see I'm a work of art, a masterpiece.
All right, family, now is the time to set the law of giving and receiving into action for yourself.
I give in love. I give in love, love.
understanding principles, you can text the word UPCHURCH to 73256 to complete your gift. You can use Cash App. Our Cash App ID is $UPCHURCHLA. You can also go to our website, upchurch.org. Choose the button Give Online. And finally, the mail still works. You can mail your gift to Understanding Principles, 600 West Queen Street, Inglewood, California, 90301. Bless our offerings. Read along with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love and I trust God. All right, let's add a declaration with that. I am in the flow. I give generously and I receive lavishly. My Father, Mother, God supplies all my needs. I am divinely supplied. All right, family. Thank you so much for your support. Let's have some announcements and then I'll be back to close this out. Would you help me celebrate and honor our social media all-stars? In the effort to become who God has called us to be as a spiritual community, everyone has a role to play. And I am so grateful for the men and the women who have said yes to helping us spread the word socially. And a very special shout out to Raquel Thompson, who is the person choosing our clips for the month of August. Thank you so much, Raquel. What a gift it has been to spend this afternoon with you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking around and just being a part of this conversation that we're having. Thank you for being such a generous supporter of UPCHURCH. We really, really, really appreciate you in every way that you show up. We just thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just bless you to go forward this week, to just let your light shine, to no longer keep your light under a bushel, but to really step into what makes you amazing. I bless you to feel safe enough to do that. I bless you to be surrounded by people who affirm you and don't deny you. And I bless you to have the audacity to be as brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and magnificent as you are. All right, let's take our prayer of protection, and then we will see you in the after party. Would you read along with me? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is. All right, family, have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. Hope to see you in the after party. If not, we'll be back here next week. And make sure you go ahead and hit that share button. Tell somebody about today.